Hello and welcome to another Bradstreet CPAs Tax Tip of the Week video series. My name is Lance Bradstreet. I'm with Bradstreet CPAs and I welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. As you may know, we send out an email series called the Tax Tip of the Week, and we've been doing this on top of it. This is our fourth one, a video Tax Tip of the Week series. We want to continue the conversation in a video format. So if you have any comments, any questions, please visit our blog at www.bradstreetcpas.com/blog. I'll put a link here in the video. Would love your commentary, would love your comments. Today's Tax Tip of the Week email series is regarding 1099s, but wanted to take some time today in the video series and talk about some questions that keep coming up in some of the year-end tax planning meetings that I'm having right now with some of our clientele. And that is on mileage. What's deductible? How can I take it? What's out there for my business or my personal use that I can take as far as driving mileage? And as most business owners know or should know, any business mileage that you do is always deductible. If your car is outside of your business and is personally owned, you can deduct the miles that you drive. And 2011, this happens occasionally when fuel prices go up. It's called a split year when it comes to mileage, and it's split into the first half of the year you get 51 cents per mile as a business deduction, and from July 1st on you get 55.5 cents per mile. So it's a little bit of a new accounting hoop you need to jump through to make sure you're splitting the year like that. As always, and we're going to touch on this at the end in your documentation, these should be split out by dates anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So we know about the business mileage. A couple other kinds of mileage that come up in these meetings that not everyone is aware of or is sometimes overlooked, and that is one of them is medical and moving mileage, and I lump those together because they get the same rate. But essentially any medical trips that you take to the doctors, to hospitals, wherever it may be, you could potentially take that mileage as a deduction. And I say potentially, I think in a future Tax Tip of the Week video series we'll touch on medical expenses. Sometimes they can be hard to get, but this could be an additional thing to put you at a level of maybe you could take those. And then the moving expenses, anytime you move over 50 miles for a new position, you could potentially take a deduction for the mileage of a personal car that you had to transport, you had to drive to that new house. And those for 2011, again, it's a split year because fuel prices were raising. Those are 19 cents a mile for the first half and 23.5 cents from July 1st on through December. So again, make sure you're documenting these things and make sure you're documenting them by date anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of an accounting headache to know that cutoff regardless. And then the last type of mileage I want to touch on is something that I see overlooked, and I always ask people when they have charitable donations, whether it be cash or non-cash type charitable gifting, do you have any volunteer mileage? Because yes, volunteer mileage is an additional itemized deduction that I see overlooked all the time. Now we're talking about these other kinds of mileage. They got the split year. Volunteer mileage usually stays pretty steady, and that's the case in 2011. It's 14 cents a mile that you get for any work essentially, or I guess I should say volunteering that you've done for a charitable organization, and that maybe you've run some errands for them or done some volunteering work for them that has made you use your personal vehicle to do jobs or errands for that organization. So those are kind of the types of mileage that we're looking at on a tax return in various forms and in various tax returns. And we wanted to touch on at the end, it's always so important to document these things. And the IRS, of course, says as any deduction, if there's no receipt, there is no deduction. And this is a very similar case. You want to make sure you're documenting these by date, the miles driven, of course, and then also a nice note about what it was for, what you were doing. It doesn't need to be a huge essay on what it was about, but just a brief description. If you need to recall the event, it'll be there for you in case it's called into question. So as always, would love it if you visit our website to learn more about tax deductions that you might be missing, or to learn more about our firm. It's www.bradstreetcpas.com. We've got the blog at bradstreetcpas.com/blog. Would love your comments, would love your questions, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.